What is up, Square Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos, and today we're going to be talking slightly about the upcoming meta in Set 13. I haven't done a Meta Monday upload in quite some time, and I know there's obviously a lot of discussion of what's going on with the upcoming set in May and how it's going to stack up against the current competition, especially with all the events that just passed over this weekend, just having conversations with people in the community and stuff. I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there. So, first and foremost, Set 13 is dropping at the end of May. It did get pushed back. Bandai did announce this last week. So you can expect Set 13 to drop, late May, which I think for our wallets is good. But I think for competitive play, you want to get your hands on cards as early as possible so you can start testing. You can start experimenting with new archetypes, new strategies, so you can start implementing that for your webcam events or whatever it is that you're playing competitively. With that being said, I do think Set 13 is going to be a good set for the game. There's a lot of fan favorite cards coming out. There's a lot of old support for different archetypes coming out. You got androids, you got the introduction of a King Cold leader, you got another King Vegeta leader. So there's a lot of different flavorful, archetypes coming out in the set. And I think it's going to be pretty nice, having that variety. As far as like meta though, I think it's 50-50. I really do. I know there's a lot of talk in the community about Bojack being meta, which is definitely possible. I definitely see that. It's got very unique skills, very interesting interactions with certain things at what it does. It's pretty energy efficient, which is always good. But I think Baby is still going to probably be the best blue deck moving forward, just because, just what Baby does naturally. Like Baby to me, like, it could be any color. Like, it doesn't matter what color it is, but it's blue, so it has one of the best secret rares in the game at its disposal. Just like Sin, the Sin archetype could be really any color, and they're getting, a nice secret rare bolstered out of Set 13 with that new Omega Shenron secret rare. But it could be any color. There's no, like, specific color it's tied to. It's just an archetype that does really well at controlling the game and playing the long game. So I put Baby and Sin in that bubble of, like, it could literally be any color, but it's blue or it's yellow. So it benefits from having, like, staples or support cards in that color that's not really specific to the archetype. But I think Dark Broly is still going to be really good. I think Red Broly, like, if you're going to be the aggressive, player, you're going to play an aggro deck, I think Red Broly is still going to be really good. I think Green is just bad. King Cold looks interesting, but it looks more of like a 1.5, maybe rogue strategy. Not really top tier, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I haven't really tested it. I'm just reading it face value. So I'm not really sure how Set 13 is going to impact the current meta. I mean, there's obviously a lot of nice cards coming out in Set 13 that's going to help support existing metas. But there's also a lot of sleeper picks. Like, I think Mechikabura is going to be a really nice leader. I think he's going to be a really good deck to build around. But you're kind of just slamming all of your, specific Mechikabura cards into that deck. You're not really, doing anything, out of the box. It just kind of builds itself. I think also the Red Bardock's crew is really interesting because it reminds me of Storm from, like, back in the day, just with the amount of pressure you could put with, like, little weenies. But it has the nice caveat of the leader's permanent, making them 3 costs while they're on the board. So you don't really fall victim to, like, Dormant, which is nice, or you don't really fall victim to, like, Shocking Death Ball, which is basically Green's answer to, like, decks that go wide. But I think that deck's really nice. It's cute. I still think Red Broly's probably the better aggro deck, but, it really all depends on what the player base wants to do. Like, do they want to move forward and dive in with both feet into Set 13 and just play Set 13 decks? Or are they just going to stick to the current meta and just kind of tweak their existing builds to help support their strategies? I think what people don't really think about is allocation and availability of product. The meta can't be defined if the product is not accessible to the masses. Like, yeah, if you have like, a couple of people here and there that get their product, sure, like they'll be able to experiment with the meta. They'll be able to change different things, play different decks, play different archetypes, play different strategies because they have all the cards available to them. But, with the way everything's been with the pandemic and just the lack of product being available to, LGSs or just allocation just really getting messed up by distributors, it's going to be really interesting to see who and how much product people get upon release. Because I think that's what's going to reflect if the meta is going to change or not. If everybody gets all of the product they're looking for set 13 and they have it at their disposal, sure, you can make the argument that people are going to be playing set 13 cards, so there's going to be a nice set 13 meta. But if people don't get their hands on those cards, they're going to have to resort to already existing strategies, i.e. Dark Broly, Red Broly, Mecha Frieza, decks that are good now in the meta, and they're just going to be added onto or tweaked by a couple new cards here and there. It's not going to be like a whole revamping of a color because you got new cards. So I think it really all depends on if you're lucky enough to get the amount of product that you've either pre-ordered or you've set money aside to be able to purchase. It has to be available for you to pick it up. So, obviously you want to take everything with a grain of salt. If it's not available to the upwards of 15,000 members in our community, that we have in DBS, if only like a select percentage of that, massive number is getting product, you really can't gauge what the meta is. And this has happened before. I want to say, I feel like it was Draft Box 6. When Draft Box 6 came out, it was really shorted. Like the allocation was really bad. And there wasn't a lot of accessibility through LGSs. I actually went through the issue with Computer and Gaming Universe where I get my product, where not enough product was received when the initial order was placed. So like Draft Box 6 was like late to the gate. Like that 2-drop Piccolo, the one that burns you on Alliance and stuff like that. Like if you're looking at price fluctuation as a direct response to the meta, that card was like $7 when it first came out. I think it's sitting at like $30 right now. Same thing with Demigra. Demigra was sitting at around $20 when it came out. It's like a $60 card right now. Same thing with 6-drop Demon King Piccolo. It was like a $5 card when it came out. It's like sitting around like $20 or $30 right now. So that like goes hand in hand. Like there's supply and there's demand, and there's people are paying these outrageous prices for cards because there's not enough of them in circulation. So I think Draft Box 6 was the first time it happened where cards came out, they weren't easily available, so it didn't impact the meta enough for them to, make their stamp on the game. And then as people started getting more and more product, things started to shift. And then with the release of set 12 and launch, that 2-drop Piccolo really found a home. So I think it really all depends on how much we have available to us upon release, which I think is May 26th at this point. If your shop hasn't signed up for pre-release events yet, see if they can still get on. I believe the pre-release events are going to be held like the weekend of May 15th, which is nice because you get that Goku's Lineage Unison as well as the Goku Junior Leader, which is nice. So I'm excited for set 13. I definitely am. I'm not really like a sweat or a quote unquote meta player. Like I don't really go to big events. I don't do the webcam events. I don't really do anything. I just play the game. And experiment with different strategies and play different stuff. So for me, I'm super excited because it's new cards. And obviously you guys know I'm excited for the new Gohan leaders, which is what I'm going to be playing. But I'm also looking at other stuff here and there. But it depends on how much product I'm going to be able to get. Like my priority for set 13 is Future Gohan, and it's going to trickle down from there. So like probably Future Gohan is my priority, and then Blue Gohan with the Skillless engine, and then probably like Bardock, and it's just going to keep going down the list there. So I'm going to try to get my hands on what I really want first, which is going to be all like the yellow stuff, which is going to be super hard because that SR, strength of a Super Saiyan card is going to, or power of a Super Saiyan is going to be ridiculous to get. But you know, with that, that's another discussion for a different video. But I just kind of wanted to get my 2 cents out there. I don't think you guys should like panic about anything really like changing, like a huge overhaul like it's been in the past with power creep and stuff like that. I still think you're gonna see a lot of the current meta decks still operate in set 13 meta. I'm sure Joey from Crossworlds is going to cover all that, you know, in upcoming videos in the next couple of weeks or so. So stay tuned for that on his channel. But I just kind of wanted to get my opinion so that nobody's panicking. You know, when the cards become available, they'll start, you know, making their changes or to the game that, you know, will happen just organically with new cards. It's just it is what it is. I still think there's still going to be, you know, the top dogs are still going to be like Dark Broly, Mecha Frieza, probably Baby as like your rogue blue deck. I don't think green really stands a chance without, you know, certain cards. Roshi getting banned or getting limited kind of hurts green. I mean, I guess I can play devil's advocate for both sides. I didn't really think anything needed to be touched on the ban list. You know, obviously, I think Bandai is future-proofing certain things, and they want to be able to push certain products certain ways. But it is what it is. Just if you're lucky enough to get pre-orders, if you're lucky enough to get products, definitely, you know, try to pick it up if you can, because I think set 13 is going to be pretty valuable. Also, Bandai is adding the box topper treatment from set 10. So when you get a box of set 13, it's going to include a random SR or SPR from this set. So I think there's going to be a lot of cards in circulation because of that. So that's something to look at. You know, you don't want to overpay for certain cards that might be easier to get your hands on, because you're essentially probably going to get 7 or 8 SRs per box as opposed to just 5 or 6 because of the box topper. And for those of you who are going to get cases or multiple cases, you're going to have a multitude of extra SRs and SPRs, which is going to either drive up the market price, drive down the market price, or it's going to either people are just not going to sell it and drive up the market price because they want to hold on to playsets of certain cards. So I think as a buyer, it's definitely valuable to get your hands on set 13. But if you're just looking to pick up a couple things as singles here and there, that's also not a bad way to go. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about my opinions or my thoughts. Do you share the same opinions as myself? Do you have different opinions? Am I just completely blowing smoke up everybody's ass and just being wrong about things? Or am I on to something about the meta not really changing too much depending on how much product people get? Let me know. Let's open this up for discussion. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything no counters, no combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.